Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we created the functionality to create the test or quiz in our Spring Boot application. And in today's video, we will complete our create test endpoint. And at the end, we will test this endpoint in the Postman. So let's get started. So as you know, we created create test method in the test service. Now let's open test controller, and in this class we will start writing a new method, and this method will return response entity, and after this we will name this method as create test. And in the params of this method we need to accept the data of the test, so we will add the annotation of request body, and we will import it from web.bind.annotation. And after this we need to mention the DTO, so we will write test DTO, and we will import it from quizserver.dto package, and after this we will name this as DTO. And in the body of this method we will write a try block, and in this try block we will write a return statement, and after this we will return new response entity, and in this we will use our test service, and after this we will call a method create test, and in the params of this method we will pass our DTO. And after this, for the status we will return http status, and we will import it from spring framework.http, and after this we will write dot OK. And with this our try block is completed. Now let's write the catch block, and in this we will catch exception, and we will name this as E. And after this, in the body of this method we will again write return statement, and after this we will return new response entity, and in this we need to return the message and the status, and for the message we will pass e dot get message, and after this for the status we will again use http status dot bad request, and after this we will annotate this method with post mapping annotation. And with this our create test API is completed. Now for the last step we will annotate our test controller with cross origin annotation, and we will import it from web.bind.annotation, and after this for the origins we will give them as static. And we added this annotation because we want to call this API from our Angular application in the future. Now let's run our application. And as you can see, our application is up on port 8080 without any errors. Now let's go to the Postman and let's call our create test API. And in the Postman, for the request type we will give this as post, and after this we need to give the URL, and for the basic URL we will give this as http localhost 8080, and after this we need to give the controller and method URL, and we will give this as /API/test, and after this we need to pass the request body, so we will click on this body tab, and after this we will click on raw, and in this first of all we need to pass the title, and for the key we will give this as title, and after this for the value I will give this as beginner level developer test, and after the title of the test we need to give the description of the test, so in the key we will write description, and after this for the value I will add some text, and at the end we need to give time per question, so in the key we will write time, and after this for the value I will give this as 60. And with this our API data is completed. Now let's click on this send button to call the API, and as you can see we got 200 OK response, and after this in the response body we got the created test, and as you can see the ID is 1, and after this the rest of the data is same which we gave. Now let's go to our MySQL workbench to verify this entry, and in the MySQL workbench we will open quiz server DB schema, and after this we will open tables, and after this we will open test table, And as you can see, we got the data, and in this table we got one record created with the ID 1. And that's it for today's video. In the next video we will build create test page with test reactive form in our Angular application for the admin.